Heyo everybody, Haku here with this week's HaQ&A video. And this one's going to be hella long because I feel like we have a lot of comments down there. And I want to discuss them all because we have a lot of really good ones this week. And yeah, so pretty much I want to thank you guys before I even get started on us hitting 250 subscribers. I owe more to you guys than you guys know. This is like the best thing that's ever happened to me, I guess. But I really love you guys sincerely, and I think it's good that I'm first saying thank you in the HaQ&A video because it is what I want to build the channel around, which is us talking back and forth and discussing things that we enjoy, and you guys being as much a part of this channel as me. So I really thank you guys. And the 250 sub special video that you guys wanted will be up sometime this weekend or next week. Gonna maybe try to post it this Sunday or something. I'm not sure. Or maybe even Saturday. I have no clue. But either way, this the special video, I will be discussing all of my anime that I have ever watched, from the ones that I don't like as much to my favorite ones. And I'll just be giving like a mini review of every anime I've ever watched. I'll just be saying like a few sentences, some general thoughts on each of them, so that we can discuss them at some point if you want. Maybe do entire videos discussing them later on, who knows. But either way, let's go ahead and get into these comments because there are a lot. And if I have to, because I have a feeling we're going to get into some Mahou Shoujo Ikse Keikaku and The Walking Dead spoilers, so if I have to discuss any questions with spoilers, I'll just put my hand up in the screen where you guys can see while I am discussing it, and I'll warn you guys beforehand, of course, so you can just mute me or skip ahead a couple seconds to maybe even a minute to when I don't have my hand up, and then we will be discussing other things. Because I do think I will have comments on some things that include some deaths in both of those shows that I don't want to spoil. Okay, so let's go ahead and start this. We're starting off this week with Joshua B, who said, I think the reason why Andrasi acted this way is because, one, her life is on the line, so she's desperate, and second, one normally wouldn't believe that their enemy would actually put themselves in a bad spot like how Elaine is now with what she's going to do. So her superstition is reasonable. Finally, it is really surprising that Andrasi, or is it really surprising that Andrasi's acting like this? I sure as hell wasn't. She always had that personality to her, which I love. I get what you mean. For the age thing, time is faster than our time. And I think it's 5 to 6 years to our 1 year. Plus, I think being able to use Shinsu grants longevity. Personally, my best girl is a tie between Yuri and Waryun. Kaiser's a nice girl, but not compared to Yuri and Waryun. Sorry, but nothing can beat the finger flick of doom, and all-knowing redhead. Okay, so I'm sorry I butchered reading that. I just recorded like over an hour, so if I have to drink a lot of water during this one, sorry. Yeah, I just feel Andrasi's behavior was a bit annoying. It's one of those things that TV shows do too often, where a character, like, there's a solution or something simple, and all they have to do is hear the information, and they'll be like, oh, okay, problem solved, but they just go off on a tangent and won't listen to the simple solution or information. And it was just that annoyance. And no, it's not really surprising as much as it is disappointing that Andrasi behaved that way, and a little bit annoying. And for ages and stuff like that, I feel like it has to do mostly with Shinsu control, but I think you may be right about their years being slightly shorter, because it seems like sometimes it takes them years or months to do small stuff that doesn't really seem like it should be that long. Best girl for me is Elaine now. Elaine, best girl right now. But if you could fight for the position later on, Ryun, Shiliel, Albelda, Jaja, and sometimes even a Nock, depending on what they're doing, I think they could top Elaine if they got some more development in the future. Future Guy 2045 said, so what was the deal and promise that Bomb had Kaiser agree to before the fight? They never really cleared that up. my assumption was it was if Bomb won, then Kaiser would give back Andraste's name, and that's why in this chapter he said one of the reasons for him paying off Kaiser's debt is because he didn't trust that she would give back Andraste's name. And yeah, great catch. I said in the comment, that's a great catch. I seriously forgot all about that. Like, I'm pretty surprised that I totally overlooked it, but yeah, I forgot all about them making a bet before their actual fight. And for what it was, I'm assuming the same thing as you, kind of. I think his promise was just about her giving up Andraste's name. It's the best bet I got. Yeah, spoilers kind of from a couple weeks ago, really quick for Mahou Shoujo Weeks aka Haku. Andrea Zapita said, magical candy's out for Nemarine, sad face. I know, I had to face the pain of my character, my favorite character dying first. So, very, very sad. And they replied, yeah, but later we'll be glad that she died sleeping. She won't have to endure the pain to see others kill each other in horrible ways. So, yeah, good point. Okay, spoilers done. And we have another comment from Andrea Zapita about Mahou Shoujo Weeks aka Haku. Finally, someone notices that Ruler isn't that bad, she's just a tsundere. Top Speed is my waifu, she must be protected. And I said, you were gonna hate my predictions video then. But, yeah, I think Ruler was just doing what she had to in order to save the people she cared about. So yeah, and then they replied, actually last night I found more spoilers than I thought I would find, which I regret, but now I think that this anime can't be compared to Madoka Magica, which many people compare it with. This is going to be a very cruel anime, and also Top Speed is still my waifu, and Ruler is the trash waifu that I love. Actually, I love almost all the characters, and me too, I love just about every single character in the show. I really like it. Don't like the twins very much. They annoy me a little. Then they also said, it would be funny if Ruler and the others get to know that Swim Swim is just a little kid. And I said, yeah, and this is a big thing for me with Mahou Shoujo Weeks aka Haku. I want to see more of the girls in their real life struggles outside of being magical girls, like what we got to see of Ruler in episode 4. I want to see more of the real life counterparts to the magical girls. Cycle 113 said, I'm curious, what are your top favorite anime, manga, manhwa? Maybe make a video on it, and I will be doing that very soon for the 250 sub special. This weekend, or even, I told them maybe in a few weeks, but no, we have grown quite a bit. Thank you guys so much. So yeah, we will be, I think I said I was at 240 last Wednesday, and here I am at 250. Awesome. So yeah, it'll probably be coming in a few days, maybe sometime next week at the latest. I'm going to start working on it today. So yeah, and they said awesome, looking forward to it. So yeah, I'm gonna just, it's not gonna be a full top 10, because the reason I'm doing it the way I am is, like, you guys probably know if you like things that, like, some days, some weeks you're like, I like this more than this, but then you switch it around some weeks. So I'm just gonna do it from generally the ones I don't like as much, because I don't think there's an anime I've watched that I've absolutely hated. I mean, I know that I disliked Sword Art Online a ton. I thought it was horrible. So I was like, I'm going to watch it to, like, just give it a chance and see if it's bad for myself, because I'm not going to judge anything without actually seeing it. And I tried watching it, didn't like it. So I'm not counting that because I didn't watch the whole thing. I'm not counting any anime for this that I didn't watch the whole way through. And I will be discussing them from my general least favorite, the ones I didn't like as much, to the ones I generally consider my absolute favorites. That's the way I'll be setting it up. So, Cycle 113 said, oh, and please make a Floor of Death arc predictions video once this arc finishes. Think that's a good idea. I think it'd be interesting to try that as well. So I'll try my best, and it's difficult for me to predict arcs for Tower of God, because so much changes, like, throughout the arc. Like, there's no way I could have guessed how Dollar Show would change and go. And the same with Name Hunt Station. There is no way at all I would have been able to guess this how it would have went. Joshua B. said, don't worry about the similarities I saw between Bomb and Kaiser were the connection between Bomb and Rachel, and Elaine and her family, and the boy she fell in love with. The only other similarity I found was that they both suffered a fall in their life thanks to those connections. Beyond that, don't worry, it wasn't major similarities, just some parallels and moments in their lives. And yeah, those are actually really good to bring up, and I like that. And I talked about last week, I talked about what I thought about the similarities sort of on the spot, and those are actually really good ones to bring up, so nice. Venersa said, I think Andrasi's a tsundere, and she'd been acting selfishly because she's conflicted with her love for Bomb and her obligation to Zahard. And yeah, I was like, of course, and I joked around, I was like, of course, she'll get her Bomb once he and Wangnan take down Zahard. But actually, I do think Bomb and Wangnan will eventually take down Zahard. I think they'll surpass him eventually. Rashad Crosby, I really like this comment. I really like this one. They said, I really want to see a Rack storyline. Yes, okay. Really want to see a Rack storyline. I remember when Khun put himself, Bomb, and Rack on a higher level than some of the others in one of the chapters. I don't remember which one. Also, when he lost against a member of the REA family, they all seemed so surprised that he lost and got caught. So far, we haven't seen him do anything that would make us go, wow, he's strong and powerful. But I'm hoping that he's revealed to be from some sort of prehistoric family, and maybe he has some hidden power, like an ability that turns him feral, and that would explain why he never uses it, because it would cause him to lose all reason, and force him to rely on primal instinct, and become much more bloodthirsty, and during this state he's unable to distinguish between friend or foe, therefore everyone he sees he thinks is his prey. And yeah, that's a really, really cool idea too, and I agree so much that we need more Rack storylines. I hate that we have not seen him in a real full fight in a long time, and even when we did see him fight in Ieta, he lost. So I just feel like SIU is really underutilizing Rack. He is a character that so many fans love, and that I really want to see more of, and yet he's just so underused. So I think we need more Rack. In Season 2 at least, he's really underused. I think we need more Rack story. Anime Watcher said, as my 2-year anniversary of being an anime fan went by, I was thinking to myself the best possible way of Tower of God being adapted into an anime. Besides the hype to see what people who never heard of Tower of God coming to see this new adaptation and seeing what they think of it. I'd like to see them add some anime original content, like a filler episode between arcs, or heck, maybe a beach episode. I couldn't care less. Bomb with Andrasi as a ship looks to be the most promising ship, but I'm hoping that Bomb gets into a relationship with Yuri at the end, because I'm into gentle femdom. Not any of that BDSM action, just some of the light cuddles and that. And yes, I'm a virgin. Heck, I don't even have a girlfriend yet. It'd be so awesome and erotic to see Yuri flirt with Bomb and Bomb get all flustered and embarrassed. The detail you went into, mad props and respect for that, man. And I definitely agree that I would need some anime-only content. I think that would be great, because the Tower of God universe and the story is just so big that there is so much room for filler floor arcs. I would love some filler arcs for a... and that's a shame, but I think if you do filler arcs right, filler arcs are good. I think the early One Piece filler arcs are nice. So, yeah, I am totally cool with some anime-only content if we get an anime. And yeah, I see Bomb as most likely with Andrasi, I've said, but I just hope that SIU never overdoes romance. I think overdoing romance really hurts a series, so I say keep romance out as much as possible if it's not a romance series, and the fans are going to ship the characters themselves anyway. And also I said, after Yuri Kuma Arash, I am a die-hard Yuri fan. Like Yuri is in Girl on Girl, die-hard Yuri fan. I'm like the male version of, what's it, like a Fujoshi or something? Or the chicks that like yaoi, I'm like the male version of that for liking Yuri. I like me some Girl on Girl romance. And yeah, that's about all I've got for that one. Andrea Zapita said, the moment when I read the whole first volume of the light novel, talking about Mahou Shoujo Ise Keikaku, honestly, I'd like this anime to be more than 12 episodes. I know the future, and it's a very interesting future. I obviously won't be spoiling you, since you seem to be doing as much as possible to avoid spoilers. And yeah, thank you so much. I am avoiding spoilers. And I kind of hope we get a second season someday with maybe a different set of girls or something. The universe is just so large and interesting to me that I think it's totally a thing we can do. Again, they used hashtag magical candies out for Nemarine and said, top speed is best girl. Best girl for me right now, I think, is maybe Tama now that I've lost my first best girl. I think I really like Tama. I think Weiss has potential, but I really like Tama. I like Top Speed as well, though. Top Speed's awesome. He said, also, Ruler is trash waifu. And yeah, same here. After the new episode, like, I love the real world Ruler, and dem thighs on the magical girl Ruler. Wait. Ruler, click. We are getting Mondo pervy in this episode, guys. Lucy Lena said, smiley face, I can't stand SAO 2, Sword Art Online. Yeah, I tried because I like to give everything a chance, but it is just, the writing is so bad, just objectively bad, not even just like opinion kind of bad, but like I feel like anybody who knows a bit about writing and entertainment should be like, this is not entertaining, this is not good. But either way, I don't want to tell you guys what to like or not like. If you like Sword Art Online, definitely like Sword Art Online. That is all up to you. Next is, man, I wrote an essay. Okay, let's check this one out. So Noir said, as someone, or Noir 309 or 891 said, as someone who's read the light novels, I'm glad you're enjoying this and doing something like this about my Mahou Shoujo Isekai Kaku predictions. I sincerely hope you'll enjoy the twists and turns of the series. By the way, this is nothing like Madoka apart from magical girls, which are very loosely defined here, being involved actually, and I still don't understand how a Battle Royal series got compared to that series. People really need to take off their Madoka filters, or they need to read a story synopsis. And I thank you very, very much, and I'm loving it so far, but I think that you're wrong with the comparisons to Madoka Magica, because I think it's been compared to Madoka Magica so much because of its success and popularity. Deconstructions existed before Madoka Magica, but Madoka's deconstruction of the magical girl genre made it one of the most popular and detailed anime ever made. So any magical girl with any dark themes made after 2011 is bound to be compared to Madoka Magica, because like it's the same way any modern zombie show is going to be compared to The Walking Dead, or any new action adventure shonen is going to be compared to Dragon Ball or Naruto or One Piece or Bleach. It's because, like, say Naruto set itself up as like the poster child for your average adventure shonen. Everything's going to be, that is like the standard that everything is judged by at this point. The Walking Dead is like the zombie show standard that all zombie shows are going to be judged by now. And that's what Madoka Magica did for deconstructions, did for dark themes in Magical Girl anime, and did for Magical Girl anime as a whole. It became a new standard that a lot of things are judged by. So of course people are going to make the comparison that the difference, they're going to say, okay, this is Madoka Magica. They're going to say what's worse than Madoka Magica, what's better than Madoka Magica, and the comparison adds to the show because it highlights the differences and what makes it unique and great. And honestly, there are a lot of similarities with Madoka Magica, and Mahou Shoujo Isekai Kaku really benefits from what sets it apart. And I've said from the beginning that Madoka relies heavily on philosophical themes like suffering, emotion, mental status, the greater good, and it prevents everything it does as stylized and artistic. So I said from the beginning that Mahou Shoujo Isekai Kaku would set itself apart from being in the shadow of Madoka Magica by focusing on the physical and practical fear, violence, threat of death, things like that. And just by the second episode, it did that more than very well. So I think being similar to something or being influenced by something doesn't take away from the series, and every writer, every work of fiction has influences, and I think the influences can make the work even greater. And I think that it's clear that Mahou Shoujo Isekai Kaku did take inspiration from Madoka Magica, because like it took inspiration, but it's even doing the whole same sort of deconstruction and making it unique, doing it in its own different way. And there are places that Mahou Shoujo Isekai Kaku doesn't reach Madoka's level, like artistic style, greater philosophical themes. It doesn't stand up to that just because Madoka is so well made and there was so much put into it. But it has areas where for me it does exceed what Madoka did. Like, I think it has a wider cast. It has a more engaging survival game concept. So there are things I think it does better, even though there are things it doesn't do as well. And like, I feel as though Mahou Shoujo Isekai Kaku's character designs are also a bit more varied and dynamic, so I like that. So, like I said before, taking inspiration is something that every author does, and it's a very far shot from copying something or being exactly like something. Like, using some of the popular shonen to talk about that, Bleach took heavy inspiration from Yu Yu Hakusho. One Piece took inspiration from Dragon Ball and Rurouni Kenshin, and Naruto, and you can actually argue that Naruto is a ripoff in a couple of areas, but Naruto took very, very heavy inspirational elements from Dragon Ball, Yu Yu Hakusho, and Hunter x Hunter. So, yeah, pretty much that was a huge speech, but to shorten it, comparing it to Madoka Magica is fair to me, and I think it's inevitable, and I think the comparison adds more to the series by highlighting the differences than anything it would take away. So I hope that speech was very enjoyable for you guys. I just went on a friggin' diatribe about Magical Girl anime. So Noir responded, I understand that, I suppose so. The comparisons are inevitable, just like what you've said, but there are people who seem to have gotten the Madoka disease and tend to encourage people to make silly comparisons at the first chance they get without waiting for the full story. Like Ripple, of all people, got called a Hamura clone. And, yeah, there is a large difference between the two. There are definitely similarities between the two, and I definitely see the similarities, but there are a lot of differences. And they said, at least there are people like you who look at it from a different view, and I'm thankful for it. Thank you so very much. And they said, one thing I can assure you as someone who's read the source material is Madoka's similarities pretty much end with Magical Girl here. Like, taking Magical Girl, a very loose definition of it with themes where any age, anyone can become a magical girl. Combine that with JoJo-like powers that come from the core of personalities. And this author is a fan of that, so expect to see cool fights with creative uses of the powers. And add in battle royal scenarios, and that's Magical Girl Raising Project. At least that's how I saw it. And yeah, it does take all those different inspirations and does a really good thing with it. So that's what I like. It has its differences, even though it has the similarities. Twilight Reaper X said about the same series, I just finished the light novels and I've experienced post-traumatic depression. Hug me. So, internet hugs all around. We do have some, even from like episode 2, I spent like 2-3 days I was about as affected by the death in episode 2 of Mahou Shoujo Isekai Kaku as I was in the Deaths in the Walking Dead Season 7 premiere. Like, it hit me. So, yeah, and it's really good to hear good things from both of you about this series. It has me hyped, and I really love the universe. While I think Madoka Magica is probably the most well-made anime ever, in my opinion, the universe for Mahou Shoujo Isekai Kaku interests me a lot more. Like just thinking that it's set only in this one city is awesome, because we could get stories in the future with girls in a bunch of other cities, and like different sets of magical girls. And Noir responded, I can pretty much guess what made you depressed, but soldier on, my friend. And they said what's still to come are Magical Girl Raising Project Restart, Limited, Aces, Joker, and Queens and F2P are both coming out too. So I haven't got an answer yet, but I recently asked, so really, are those more series from it, or are they just the next volumes of this series? So gonna be getting back to you on that answer next week in next week's HaQ&A, yes. Iron Felty said, are you going to review any other TV series? Because I ran into a really good show called Mr. Robot about an antisocial hacker that you might get hooked in the first 5 minutes, and I'd like to hear some reviews or a season review. It's going to come to the third season in 2007. Good video. I think there may have been a typo in there. 2017, I think they meant. But yeah, thanks so very much. And I've heard Mr. Robot is great from some friends too, but I don't really have any plans to add it to the channel right now. But again, anything's possible. Like, I don't want to get anybody's hopes up by saying I'll do something that I probably won't. But who knows, one day I could be like, hey, I'll just sit down and try this, and if I fall in love with it, I might even review it week to week. I have no idea. The future for this channel is open like that. I'm open to trying new things, but I don't know if that particular show will be one of the new things I try. Anime Watcher said that cliffhanger must be tough to bear, but not as bad as some of the ones in Revolution Road. Zing, he says about the last Boku no Hero Academia read-through. And yeah, it's hard only having time to read 4 chapters a week while making the video, but ending on a bit of a cliffhanger I think helps, because it helps keep me motivated for the next week's video. Alnoa.02014 A/Z24 said, we get a glimpse of the ranker Lopobia Porp, and I like Ha Jinsung this chapter about Tower of God. And yeah, Ha Jinsung is awesome, and I really like Porp too. He looks really interesting to me. Louis C. Lena said, God give Lopobia Elaine salvation. Yes, best girl Elaine. Cycle 113 said, Haku, what do you reckon the bet between Yuri and Machine is about? And I bring this question up in my review because I saw it before I made my review. I think it may end up being something like Machine's betting that her allied princesses like Lilial, Shilial, Maria will be able to beat the princesses that she thinks Yuri's allied with, like maybe Anak, Andrasi, and Repalista. Then Anime Watcher said, I read the raw translations on Tumblr before the official translations came out about this week's Tower of God. There was a weirdly placed line that wasn't in the official translation. When Machine's talking to Yuri, she says, Ah, Uni, for some reason my pocket smelled like breast milk and said you contacted me. I have no idea what kind of joke that entails in Korean, but it sure is weird. And Ha Jinsung's a badass, period. Also don't underestimate his students. And yeah, I think it was maybe a mistranslation, but if it is purposeful, it's maybe a joke about her being old, since Uni is big sister, sort of like Onechan from Japanese. So yeah, that it may have been a joke about her being old or getting older, maybe. Also, Jinsung is great. I freaking love Jinsung. Definitely one of the strongest characters we've seen in the entire series. Spoilers for this next comment for the Walking Dead Season 7 premiere. So, hand up, spoiler right this second. LaTroy's view said, I agree that this episode was worth the wait. It was perfect. Negan just crippled Rick by taking away 3 heavy hitters in his group with Abe, Glenn, and Daryl. They're going to need more than just the Kingdom and Hilltop to beat the Saviors. And right. And I like that the whole right-hand man thing that they had at the beginning comes into play here, since it's like Negan took out the 3 that he thought could have been Rick's right-hand man by killing 2 and using 1 as leverage to keep Rick in line. Personally, I consider Michonne to be Rick's right-hand man, but that's just me. But I think it's interesting that he could have perhaps killed those 2 and took Daryl on purpose because he was trying to weaken Rick by taking what he thought was maybe his right-hand man. So that could be interesting, that maybe it wasn't as random as Negan's putting out there. Also, episode perfect. This episode was so good. They also said, Kirkman has another show on Cinemax that's pretty gruesome at times, and yeah, I've heard of it, but I've never watched it or read the comics. I think it is, what's it called? I had it on the tip of my tongue. Outcast, I think. So yeah, I haven't seen it. Okay. Spoilers this time, guys, but different spoilers. Spoilers for Mahou Shoujo Week HaQ episode 4 now. So spoilers for this one. Noir 30891 said Ruler was covered in blood because she panicked and flailed around screaming why. Her body was pretty much breaking down at the points that became like that. If Nemean wasn't asleep and flailing around, we might have seen blood too, or at least that's what I get from the light novel. And thank you for the explanation, because yeah, I didn't really get it. It's still kind of odd and not totally explained that well, but yeah, I get you. Yodazuya White Bear Beppo said about my last 12 Beast video, I don't read the series, but dat thumbnail dough, lol. And yeah, well, when the light hits waifu just right. But yeah, I would recommend it though to all of you guys out there. I've recommended 12 Beasts 1,000 times, but I would recommend again. For me, it has surpassed Fairy Tail for shonen action adventure for me, and it is up there with Naruto, Bleach, and Boku no Hero Academia. The first chapter or 2, I thought there was too much fan service, but it really found its pace since then. It's pretty new though, so yeah, only on its 21st chapter. If any of you are interested, I'll give a basic premise. In the one shot, we see a band of mercenaries led by a human saving this kingdom of lizard people. And the series then starts by flashing back to that human as just a normal human ninja. And he gets taken by a harpy who's obsessed with old ninja stories and movies to go save her village, since she thinks that ninjas are like super great heroes because she's obsessed with them. And then he ends up going on a journey to stop an evil kingdom threatening genocide of the other kingdoms, and he ends up collecting and losing party members along the way. So really interesting. And it looks like we got 3 new comments while I was recording this. So let's just look at them real quick. Alnoa.02014a/C24 said what I liked about Port being awesome. They thought so as well. Noir30891 said those are the volume names. The volume the anime is covering is Magical Girl Raising Project. It's followed by Magical Girl Raising Project Restart, which were episodes 2 and 3, I guess, or episodes, or Magical Girl Raising Project Restart is, I guess, volumes 2 and 3, and then episodes is 4, limited is 5 and 6, Jokers is 7, Aces is 8, and episode Sigma is 9. I believe there are 50 plus Magical Girls in the series now. Not that some of them can be called girls, lol. Okay, that gets me hyped a lot. I really kind of want to read the light novels then. I don't read light novels very often, so it might be something different. I don't know if I'll discuss it on the channel or not, but I kind of want to read now. After the anime series ends, though, I want to be surprised when stuff happens in the anime series. And then lastly, Joshua B. Oh yeah, said, I assume you mean the clone with all the souls in her, because Albelda's someone else. It's stated that once someone learns how to use Shinsu, their age slows down immediately, so it's probably a combination of them both. Yeah, we discussed that, and I always called the clone Albelda, and I've brought it up a bunch before, because it essentially is Albelda. The way they said it is, it's Albelda with all the souls fused into her. So while she isn't completely 100% Albelda anymore, because she has all the other personalities with her, they've sort of fused into their own personality. So while it's not the original Albelda, it's like a new Albelda. And until they give her a different name, I just call her Albelda. If they give her a different name, I'll call her by the different name, but until they give her something else, I'm just saying Albelda. And that's it. So thank you guys for watching. That was hella long. I can just feel it. Let me check. 31 minutes. Not that bad, honestly. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Like if you did like this video. Comment down there. Tell me what you thought of this video and what you thought of anything there. If you have anything else you want to discuss next week, throw it down there. I am totally happy to discuss anything and everything with you guys. Subscribe for everything we talked about here and more. Haku. I said that a bunch. I am so surprised I said that so well so many times. But yeah, subscribe for tons of stuff and more. Follow on Twitter if you want as well. I'll try to keep you updated there as best I can for stuff on the channel. Like I said, this 250 sub video will be up sometime within like a week or so-ish, maybe a few days. Sorry about that. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, that's it. I'll see you all next time.